In this video, we're going to turn it up a little bit. We're going to talk about something that's dear to my heart. I really love entertainment. And, back in my 20s, I had started a venture in the entertainment space. We brought relatively big DJs in the city of Strasbourg, and that was my first venture. Not necessarily a complete success, but nevertheless, we were able to really quickly implement in the city of Strasbourg great parties, great nights with lines. People lining up in front. We had a website, we interviewed many people. This was pretty amazing. But I want to talk to you about something which mixes the world of business and the world of entertainment. And it's very key to know today because it's a new recipe for success. So the new recipe for success today is geeks, hustlers, and hipsters. Mixing those three elements will help you light that fire up of your startup, because one thing that is happening, what is it? Many people are starting their companies, but then when you have so many people starting their companies, how do you get your company in front of customers? How do people get to know you? It costs a lot of money in ads to get in front of customers. Well, one trick is to partner with artists. And why is this interesting, both for artists and both for entrepreneurs? I'm going to explain. So artists, in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000, got disrupted themselves by the tech revolution. Remember Napster, peer-to-peer, file sharing, and so on, where those artists basically, all of a sudden saw their revenue stream, melt over, illegal music download. Still today, the industry is reinventing itself. And finding online streaming of basically their music, with Spotify and so on. But still the industry is not completely recovered. It's reinventing itself, and artists are looking for new ways of making money and basically finance their art. So it can be very interesting for artists to partner with engineers, scientists, entrepreneurs, or geeks and hustlers to basically find a win-win relationship where one creates a product that doesn't have much following, and on the other side, the artist has a lot of following and is looking for financing for money to finance his art. So I'm going to give you a few examples and a few stories in this few slides here. So Dr. Dre. Remember his music. So Dr. Dre was an amazing success story. I myself was a fan when I was a kid, and I still listen to his music. One of the most controversial and popular 90s rap band. So they, in the 90s, you probably remember or know, the band NWA, who basically, shocked the world, but at the same time, created sort of a rebel spirit. It was the rock and roll, if you will, of our generation, and many people loved that music because it had certain values behind it that are probably universal, of everyone wants to fight for freedom and so on and so on. But the band rocked it, was very popular with Ice Cube and so on. And at the same time, the music industry was disrupted, as we talked about earlier. So Dr. Dre, like many other artists, was probably, quote unquote, suffering, from the music disruption. So, but being a, rap legend and icon, I'm pretty sure he was, fine, but definitely in looking for opportunities always, right? Especially, a kid or a guy like Dr. Dre, who basically, who was always a bit of an entrepreneur. So at the same time that the music industry was disrupted, in 2006, a company called Beats was founded. It was a cool technology, headphones, but no one knew about them, right? So Jamie Lovin, a record label executive, highly networked, with, the Black Eyed Peas, Pharrell, Dr. Dre, and so on and so on and so on, learned about this company called Beats. And actually there's a documentary, if you want to see it, that's coming out on the whole story. It's so amazing. And so Dr. Dre had a major following and has still a major following, probably billions of views on YouTube, millions of albums sold around the world. So they adopted what I would call the mass celebrity influencer endorsement strategy. What is this? Well, pretty simple. You have on one side an artist with a lot of following and people that trust him, and on the other side you have a cool technology that people need. So the beats actually were needed. So why did this magic happen? Well, the beats responded to a need where the iPhone was always sold with those little earplugs where the sound was not that great, but music consumption has never been as high, whereas revenue has never been as low, said my friend Kendall Minter. So people are listening to a lot of music, but the earphones were not good quality. So they came up with the Beats. They gave it to Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre put the Beats on, helped with the design, helped configure the sound, and then the world was told the Beats by Dre are out. Imagine this. The Beats by Dre, when this came out, the music legend in hip-hop, considered the Mozart of rap, if you will, comes up with the headphones. All the kids, the youth, bought those headphones, not just because of the product, but because of the person behind the product, Dr. Dre. This was an instant success. Younger generations, went to their parents, and asked, hey, mom, dad, I want those headphones, etc. So parents had to chip in and buy those headphones, and then they extended the mass celebrity influencer endorsement strategy. You probably have seen Olympic athletes, baseball player, basketball player, soccer player come to the tournament with the headphones on. So mass visibility, mass success, and a threat somewhat to Apple, and a complementary product to Apple, because not only they came up with the phone, but they also came up with the software where you could download music. So that was sort of a bit of a competitor to iTunes. And Apple bought in 2014 the Beats by Dre for $3 billion, which made Dr. Dre the first black American rapper to be a billionaire, and well deserved, because his story is pretty tough, pretty rough. There's also a movie on this. Came up, in the underprivileged area of California, Los Angeles, tough world, and he made it to the top, hustling with an entrepreneurial spirit, a positive spirit overall. And today he's, I believe he's still an employee of Apple too. So he's working now for one of the best companies in the world. An amazing success story. Let's talk now about Akon. Similar story in terms of celebrity, mass celebrity endorsement. So basically, Lighting Africa. It's a project basically that Akon partnered with, or founded actually, and what they do, they want to bring electricity to Africa. Africa is the next big thing, don't get it wrong. China in the 80s, no one would believe that China would be the country that it is today. And today, China is the number 2 or number 1 country in the world. Same with Africa. Right now, Africa is being built, and a lot of countries are already super strong and getting stronger every day. So Akon is putting his chip and bidding on the future of Africa, and he's doing very well. Lighting Africa aims to bring electricity to the people who don't have electricity in Africa. That's a big problem, but that's what entrepreneurs do, right? They fix problems. And how many people have that problem? 600 million people do not have electricity. So he partnered with a company that provides solar panel, so clean energy, amazing. That's the trend today too. So it's not only it supports a problem, it's also right on par with the actual trends. So that's a good project. And then instant success, of course, with Akon, being known for his music too. So, listen to his music right now. So with millions of views, Akon, same deal, went on all the channels. You can rewatch, his interviews on many, channels on YouTube, where it's been uploaded. But an instant success, the media went all over it. 100,000, hundreds of thousands of installations already, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. So again, a perfect example where an artist brings his talent, his entrepreneurial spirit, and his followers to a cause that then helps make the cause or the project or the startup see the light and happen. This is not only happening in the rap or urban world. This is all over the place. The whole music industry, film industry is reinventing itself, and it's a new opportunity for entrepreneurs, and it's a new opportunity for artists. Guys like Ashton Kutcher are actually pretty impressive investors, entrepreneurial minded individuals. Ashton Kutcher, he's all over the startup world. He also did the movie Steve Jobs, which actually an amazing movie, really good movie. There's several movies on Steve Jobs and Apple. I do recommend you watch the one with Ashton Kutcher. He's really good, and he did really well. The character of Steve Jobs, but also he's an amazing artist and actor as well. Bono has a venture capital firm and has invested in startups too. Justin Timberlake, DiCaprio, Justin Bieber, MC Hammer, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and many more. So, and one thing, and I want to say this too. Right now, I've given you top of the Billboard artists, right? So you're going to be asking yourself, yeah, but how can I reach out to them? So first of all, you don't need to reach out to the top of the Billboard, right? Because first of all, a lot of people are trying to do this. It's not easy to contact them. They have a lot of opportunities, but you still should try if you really want an artist. But target artists that are not necessarily in the spotlight right now, but that still have a lot of followers, right? So you can have, for instance, take 10 artists, join them, bring them to your board, and have those 10 artists have a joint following of 1 million followers. That's 1 million followers. That's a lot of people. So you don't necessarily need to have artists top of the Billboard. So how do you do this? Well, you have polestar.com. It's a website basically where you can have access to all the phone numbers, email, website of the artist managers, the agents, the record labels. So, and then it's a bit like asking for funding. You have to contact and be perseverant. Choose really well the artist, not just for his fame, but for the fit with the product you want to promote. So let's say you're inventing a product, on yoga, wearable technology for yoga that measures, your heartbeat while you're doing yoga. Well, take an artist that actually does yoga or is fit, right? So this is just an example. So you have companies like Music Audience Exchange also. What they do, an amazing startup also that I had the luck to interview for my one of the projects for creating this training too. So what they do is basically they provide artists that are debuting artists, early stage artists, but a lot of them, and they connect them to brands for them to basically be able to run campaigns and introduce their products to communities. So it's an amazing business model of the future too. And you can connect with them. They typically work more with startup or corporation, big brands, or startup that have actually funding to be able to pay for the campaign, because they're an enterprise themselves. So of course they need to find some revenue here. So to recap, polestar.com, a great website to find the contacts, details of those artists and offer them the opportunity to work with you. And also, a Music Audience Exchange, a great website also for you to be able to, connect with them, check out the business model they have, and go there to try to make this happen, the recipe for success, geek, hipsters, and hustlers together. So then I'll finish this video with this last slide, which is from Hugh MacLeod, and it's actually George Howard, serial entrepreneur, also professor at Berkeley University here in Boston, who shared with me this quote that's from Hugh MacLeod, but which since then I love very much too, because I think it's so true. All artists are entrepreneurs, and the best entrepreneurs are artists. If you can sell music, in this day and age, you can sell anything. So I really have high respect for artists that are able to make it in the music industry today, because it's tough. It's as tough as launching a startup in the technology space. It's not easy, and artists are entrepreneurs because they need to create their brands, create their sound. They're innovators, they're creatives. They need to make their product or make their music known, bring it in front of people, differentiate themselves. And also then I want to say this, the best entrepreneurs are artists, because entrepreneurship, it's art. Nothing is perfect with entrepreneurship. When you create something out of nothing, it's really takes an artist to do so. So to finalize and to close this video, creatives plus business, it's the top strategy today.